There we go. Hey, everybody. Sally, long time no see. How are you? Hi, Linda. Hi, Brendan. Still connecting. Hi, Brendan. Linda, let's let the other two people in the room. How's everybody today? Are you all good?
Yep.
Yes, ready to smash LinkedIn to get more speaking opportunities? That's why we're here. Hi, Nicola. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Long time. Hey, Chris. Lovely to see your smiley face. How are you?
Yes, really good.
Yeah, good. Long time. It's nice to see some old fresh faces. Familiar. That's the word. Familiar. I don't mean old as in age.
Old is good, but familiar is nice.
Exactly. Familiar faces resurface. So that's really nice to see. So I'll get going. If you guys want to be off camera, that's completely cool. You know, with it being a webinar, I will be taking questions and everything like that, of course, throughout. What I want to do is really get through the content so I can add value and show you really how you can maximize LinkedIn to land those speaking opportunities, to maximize your potential and really grow your business. Because since we've streamlined everything and focused only on LinkedIn, a lot of you will not know this or know this. We're not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I hardly go on Facebook anymore. Really, we focused in on LinkedIn. And since we focused in on LinkedIn, actually our results have massively grown. So what I want to show you is what we've done about it. And then we'll go from there and see how it can help you. Some of you might be doing it already, so it's a good refresher. And for some of you might be like, oh, yes, every time I've run this so far, people have had light bulb moments is the good news. Oh, yeah, that's me. I've been doing this. And the good thing is, you know, should you choose to, all I'm going to talk about beyond today is our alert service. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Besides giving you the value from the webinar, our new alert service is what I'll be discussing. Will there be a recording? Yes, there'll be a recording. It's also going out on YouTube, so you can find it on YouTube as well. But there's also being a recording, which we will share a bit later. Should you miss any of these golden nuggets that I'll be sharing with you. Libby, hello, Libby. I believe in South Africa, an international community as always. So I will get going with this. Let me just bring up the slides. And if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat because I will pause to take them. And why not just say who you are, what you do while I'm bringing the slides up and where you are, because, you know, we're all in this together. Well, you never know. You might go, hey, you're a cool person. Let me connect with you. Feel free to put your LinkedIn links. This is all about LinkedIn and maximizing LinkedIn. So feel free to do that and to support and connect with each other. So this is about using LinkedIn to get speaking opportunities. You're doing the hellos now as we speak. So the reason I wanted to put this on, again, for those of you who do not know, I'm going to dive into a little bit more of who I am and what I do and why I do it. But really, I want speakers to have maximum impact out there. And it doesn't matter if you're starting out, if you have a big following or small following. What I've noticed, there's a lot of great speakers out there in the world, but very few truly have the impact that they want to have. And that's because they're not doing what I call the other 50%. Right? So a lot of speakers invest in speaking, which is fantastic. And you should be a fantastic speaker. You should be a great speaker. That is indisputable. But equally, the other 50% is how you market yourself as a speaker, your positioning as a speaker, which is why I really wanted to do these kind of webinars, because yes, I can, and I do work with speakers on their delivery. The other side that speakers forget about is the marketing. And, you know, you need to market yourself as a speaker just as much as you market your business. Now, a lot of you are experts that speak that are on this webinar. I'm aware of that. So for you, speaking is part of your marketing strategy, part of your growth strategy, your client strategy. So I just want you to really think that actually speaking, it's to get the 100%, we need to be great speakers. We also need to know how to market ourselves. And today's going to focus on LinkedIn as well. If you want to put in the chat what your biggest challenges when it comes down to, you know, speaking and things like that, yeah, you can put your video off. Don't worry. It's completely okay if you need to put your video off. I'm very happy with that. Don't worry about it. It's all good. When I do my masterclasses, I know I like my videos on, but this is a webinar, so it's okay. So the range of people we get to work with who have the challenges we're going to discuss, it's a real range. We work from service entrepreneurs to founders to CEOs to coaches, trainers, consultants to authors, a real variety of industries. Because for us, it's about the methodology. It's not necessarily about, like, while we're niched on experts that speak, we don't have to focus on a sector, because what we do in the communication space is able you to communicate yourself better. And they all seem to have common problems, which you can relate to. Of course, the continuous need to adapt and be, and be current. I was talking to a speaker the other day, and she said to me, she's like, Elliot, I'm really uncomfortable with the amount of content that I need to produce now. And I was like, but that's just the reality of being a speaker these days, that it's not enough just to necessarily say you're a speaker, put it on LinkedIn. Actually, the content you produce, which we'll talk about, must reflect you as a speaker in order to get you booked. And there's various ways to do it, to have mass content. Getting booked, getting paid is one of them. Of course, struggling with the noise, low speaking impact. When you speak, you don't get the results you want. Not enough stage time to practice, unclear brand message, which means you don't attract the clients you want, fluffy pitch, or the worst one is they forget to pitch. But today is all about, of course, marketing as well. And the other one is not enough quality leads. So just a little bit about me. I've been doing this now for over a decade. I co-founded Speaker Express over a decade ago. I've since spoken internationally. I've written 6 books now, 2 of them bestsellers, and I mentor the Princess Trust. I also run a podcast. For those of you who, I know some of you do see this on LinkedIn, every Monday we record it live, the Public Speaking Expert podcast, and then we recycle it and we release it a couple months down the line as well. So that's now on season 2, and season 2 is all about influence. We won loads of awards last year, over the last couple of years, which is fantastic, but for those of you who heard me say this before, the one that really stands out for me is being shortlisted for the Business Book Awards. That to me was everything when I was shortlisted. And actually this year I've been invited as a judge at the Business Book Awards. So that's pretty cool for someone that can't read or write, really. That's a good thing for someone that's dyslexic and really struggles. If anyone knows or sees my emails, well, no, grammatically, it's always a challenge for me, but there we go. And we've had the pleasure of working with a range of entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts, from tech entrepreneurs there in the top left, to Philly, who was on MasterChef Professionals a couple of years ago, to property, to authors, to people on Dragon's Den, because it's about the methodology. So what I'm going to show you today works. This is focused on LinkedIn. So Devon, that I work with, I'm also a mentoring client for her, as well as what you can learn today. She sent me this recently, and basically following some of the stuff I'm going to share with you today, she got 3 speaking opportunities, paid ones, and she even got called back by her university to speak. Now, the reason I'm using Devon as an example, as well as Deborah that's coming next, is Devon doesn't have a very big following on LinkedIn at all. In fact, she just launched her account a few months ago. So it isn't about the numbers. And you hear me talk about this again. The same with Deborah. Deborah here, Dr. Deborah Mao, she also doesn't have a very big following. She's just focused in on LinkedIn, and just with some simple steps I'm going to talk about today, she got invited to speak at a conference that she's been trying to break into for 3 years in Barcelona. So again, it isn't the reason I want to show you these is neither of these have massive following. They haven't been building their LinkedIn for very long. And even with a small following, if it's done right, excuse me, got a little bit of a cold, you're going to get results. And that's the key here. The key, obviously, I'm going to talk about is consistency. But the other thing, of course, is positioning. So with Jack, he was already established. And what we had to do with him is just tweak his positioning a bit better so he can get those bookings. So again, with Jack, he's established, he's known, he writes comedy for BBC, things like that. We just tweaked how he's positioning himself, and then he was able to get out there a lot more and get those bookings. The same with Maria. Maria works with head teachers. Once we tweaked what she spoke about and how she communicated that, she got herself a lot more bookings, and therefore she got herself some clients and got paid as well. And the last one is Ed, who's in the tech space. For him, he was confident. He runs 4 businesses. With him, it was about what he spoke about and how he communicated that to his potential buyers and prospects and clients. And as a result of that, again, his speaking side really grew and had the impact he wanted. So let's get going, right? The first one I want to talk about is the output of relevant content. Now, remember, this is about speaking to get you booked. Now, there are two types. I think I'm going to come to this anyway. There's two types of people that are reading and digesting your content when it comes to speaking. There's the conference and event organizers, right? So they are going to want to see the content, whether that be video, and we'll talk about the different types, that demonstrate that you have something for their audience. That's key, that your content communicates to the bookers that you have something to their audience. The other type of person that's digesting your content is people that have communities. And those community people want to know that you're going to add value to their communities. Therefore, they'll reach out to book you. So please keep in mind that when you're producing content on top of your business content, I'm talking about content for speaking that's going to get you booked, that it's showing the bookers what's in it for them to book you, to put you on their stage. And this is regardless whether you're paid or not, by the way. It's the same. So what does matter is a variety of content, right? This is key. The type of content, short form, long form, images, no images, videos, right? All of these matter because people will relate to different type of content in different ways. So really think, am I just churning out the same kind of content in the same kind of way and getting the same results? Or am I offering a variety? So have a real deep think. Is your content truly a front shop window to get you booked, right? So this is what I was talking about. Like, you got the two audiences as well. So keep that in mind. The other thing when you are communicating to your potential bookers is communicating to the bookers what keeps them up at night. So how are you going to make their job easier by booking you? But also for the audience, a reflection that you get their challenges, their problems. And again, that's why to book you. Now, for people that are motivational speakers on this call and watching this, or inspirational speakers, and that's your whole business model, again, what is the problem you're going to motivate people to solve? Because also what shifted since the pandemic is people want implementation, not just motivation and information. So they want to be able to walk away with something tangible. And again, those are what bookers are looking for. What are people going to get by booking you and paying you? What's the implementation aspect that people are going to get by booking you? So keep that in mind as well. The other part is what we call page packing, right? Does your page scream, and I do mean scream, expert speaker? This is really important, because if you think, and we'll talk about this a bit later, if you think that your LinkedIn page is a secondary website to your normal website, your speaker website, then it's got to scream expert speaker. If it's not screaming expert speaker, someone else's is, right? This is key. What do I mean by that? There has to be, from the moment go, from the banner, from the image, all the way through, a thread that demonstrates your expertise on what you speak about. Now, again, I know a lot of you use LinkedIn for other things, but within that, even if you're posting a mixture of posts, I need to see, a booker needs to see, a conference organizer needs to see that you are the expert in your space. Therefore, videos, right? Not many people make enough of the featured, because you'll be surprised how many people look at the featured, right? What are you featuring there? What are you displaying, again, in your front shop window that's showing you off in the right way? Is the banner the right way? We've changed that one since, by the way. Does your little title, award-winning, all that, does that sell your expertise? All the bits that matter are important. So I want everybody on this from now on to treat their LinkedIn page like a secondary website landing page. And each layer has to communicate your expertise more and more. So that's the second thing. So does it also reflect your fee for those of you who charge? For those you speak to sell, again, does it still reflect the size of rooms that you're selling? But also, does it reflect your fee? Because if the answer is no, then people assume you're free. So for those of you who want to get paid, your paid need to reflect that. And the featured stuff helps with that. And the type of posts and the type of image all help to reflect your fee. Something that we featured, for example, is my show reels. They're featured in there. Some high performing posts are featured in there, right? So keep that in mind. So someone that, when we tweaked his positioning and we softened him and we showed his other side, was Juan. Some of you heard me talk about him. ex-soldier, ex-military, used to command 4,000 people, 4,000 troops. That's what his thing. So when we changed that, we softened that, and we communicated his real heart-centered piece, which was helping youth people, helping youth really step out of dangerous situations. He then attracted the job that he got, or the position he got, which was the Steels Warriors Community Project Manager. But he got that because he went into corporations, and we softened him. We changed his communication, not just as a speaker, but the other 50% with his marketing. And therefore, he attracted the opportunities to get paid to speak as well, right? So this all matters. Everything matters. Please understand that as well. The third thing I would like you to really think about is the type of titles you use when it comes to your speaking, right? I'm going to have a look at the chat in a minute and have a look at this. Public speaker, motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. Now, here's the thing. You really need to put expert speaker on, or expert speaker and the subject matter. Public speaker is so wide, it tells me nothing why I should book you. But also public speaker says that you're not pro, that you're not paid, that you do it a little bit on the side, right? Motivational speaker, again, you go into the wide sea of motivational speakers. And you got to remember, there's people that motivational speakers, this is all they do. So their content machine is pumping out motivational stuff. Same with inspirational speaker. Really think about changing it to expert that speaks. And then you put your expertise or professional speaker on. You got to let people know how to box you in. This is the one industry that looks to box you in. Okay, please understand that. That's really what's important. You need to stand out. You need to be more giraffe. Please stop using public speaker, motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. Tell us what you speak about. Don't be scared to lose those who would never book you anyway, okay? And the other one is speaker. I see that all the time. I'm a speaker. Well, again, it doesn't tell me anything, right? So please remember that. And the fourth one, before I look at some of the comments and stuff like that, is your bio on LinkedIn. Does your bio sell you as a speaker? Does it tell me that you're a professionally paid speaker, the topics that it does, all those bits and bobs, and potentially your fee range, or that you're a paid speaker? All these things really matter. But a lot of people skirt over them. Now, a lot of you, again, are business owners, a lot of you are other things. So what we do is we split. Mine is split as a speaker, and there's a speaker bio, and then as a trainer, there's a trainer bio, right? But what's important with a bio, it's your sales brochure, right? Why you? What's in it for them, i.e. the bookers? What are the key takeaways from booking you? Remember, people are looking for implementation, not information, because we've got so much information around us. So does your bio sell you? You know, so a lot of you will go after today's session and do a massive audit, and I highly recommend that you do. Because if you do want to land those high-paying speaking gigs and those, you know, really grow your business through the use of LinkedIn, these are the key areas that you've got to focus on, that you've got to truly understand, that make the difference. And the bio is a huge one, okay? The other thing to remember when it comes to LinkedIn is that people will add you without looking at your profile until they need to. But when they need to, it's got to be tip-top, right? And I'll tell you a little bit about our outreach lately and how I know this firsthand, that that's the case. But when people do read it, it's got to really sell you as a speaker, okay? So that's kind of one half of ours. That's what mine looks like as a speaker, right? And then the other half we have as a trainer. So you can have two bios. That's completely okay, because often you'll have a speaker bio anyway, which is slightly different. So make sure your bio sells you as a speaker. I'll go back. Why you? What's in it for them, the person booking you, and the key takeaways. All right. Please remember that. Again, someone that we did this with was John. All right. And they're creatives. They're a branding agency. They help products fly off shelves in supermarket. Once we changed and we tweaked their positioning on their marketing side on LinkedIn, as well as what they spoke about, and we framed it so actually it got rid of the gigs that they didn't want, right? The bios sold them as speakers. That's when they saw the shift and the change. Now, again, they're not speakers. They speak to generate business, but it really helped them from a positioning point of view and a tweaking point of view that people got exactly what it would be. Before that, it was very mushy, right? And that's a lot of people out there. They have mushy bios, they have mushy things, they kind of, it's hopeful writing versus very clear and concise and specific, you know. So that's something that is massively important when it comes down to it. So I'm going to look at the chat box in a minute. Stop doing what doesn't work, right? Start doing what does. So stop using images or not having no images. Stop sounding generic. Stop sounding vanilla like everyone else out there, right? Generic speaker titles, you know, 6 ways to succeed, 7 ways to build a business, you know, trying to think what other ones are out there, but you get my point. 5 ways to have more confidence. You've got to sound what's relevant to the person that's going to book you. Of course, in line with who you are, but don't sound like everyone else. The right, you know, again, really think of your content strategy. This morning I was working with my clients, and she's just moving towards female solicitors. So what she must do is shift the language to appeal. And up until now, her content wasn't quite focused in. And that's where you need to get really focused. So put out the right content that's going to attract the people that want to book you, that is relevant to the people booking you. The other thing it does matter, and I'll tell you how I know this matters. I work with the Princess Trust a lot. I have done for a decade, and I work with a variety of organizations. And I remember someone speaking to me about another speaker that they didn't know I knew. And they told me that they would have booked them and they would have brought them in to speak to the young people. But the reason they didn't is because they found one post of theirs that was really rather self-indulgent, indulging, but also highly judgmental of certain situations. And because of that, they didn't book that person. Right. And that's not unique. So please understand that there's a time and place for self-indulging posts. And it does depend on your brand and who you are. But if you want to get booked, get paid as a professional speaker, or you want to attract clients and those big speaking opportunities, all I'm saying is just be very conscious on the type of posts you put out there, and because it's not how it's intended, it's how it's perceived. Right. And a lot of speakers tend to be obviously very hearty people, very open people. And sometimes they'll just put self-indulgent posts that really doesn't add value, and therefore it costs them bookings, right? The other one is to be inconsistent. If you're going to post 2 or 3 times a week on LinkedIn, make sure it's 2 or 3 times all the time. If it's every day like us, make sure it's every day. So all I'm saying is if you're inconsistent, you get inconsistent results. And the other thing, of course, is don't make it hard for people to book you, right? Don't make it easy for people to book you, really easy people to book you, right? If you're emailed an inquiry, you respond straight away. If people click on your website, it's easy to find out how to book you. A lot of speakers make this mystical maze of like, oh, they have to figure out how to book me. No, they'll just move on, right? So make it very easy to book or inquire. And the other thing I just talked about is the speed of response, right? So before I go on, let me have a look at, lots of chats, lots of things. Here we go. Lots of stuff. What's in it for them? Yeah, variety of content. Here we go. Let's start again. So we said, so we've got some hellos here. They've got some hellos. What's in it for them? Yeah. How will you make their, okay, there's lots of, I see you're making notes here. Good. Brandon, not to worry. Titles. Oh, good. I think Duramata here is making some really nice. What would be a good example of self-indulgent post? That's a good question. Self-indulgent post is when people kind of, instead of adding value, so a lot of people will share experiences, right, Chris? They'll share an experience that's going on with them. And instead of it becoming a learning possibility or an add value possibility, it's very much almost what we might call a pity post. And therefore they're kind of, it doesn't add any value to the reader. Now, remember, I'm only talking about LinkedIn for speaking, right? That's key here to remember. I'm talking about LinkedIn for speaking. So you got to understand that if a booker or a conference organizer or someone reads posts that like, poor me, pity me, and it has no value or no added value, it can cost people a booking. That's what I mean by that. Does that help, Chris? Let me know, give me a yay or an A. But that's what I mean. So look, I've shared a lot about my mental health battles in the past, but always from a place of sharing, inspiring, empowering, right? Versus poor me, I've had mental health battles, right? I'm not, just to give context. Now, remember, I'm only talking to get you booked as a speaker. Like, there are plenty of times to do that, and there's plenty of spaces you can be to do that, including on LinkedIn, right? I read someone talking about his separation from marriage recently and things like that. But I'm talking about getting speaking opportunities from LinkedIn. That's what I mean in that respect, right? Okay, very quickly, I'm just want to tell you a little bit about our Gig Getters alert service. So while you're doing all this work on LinkedIn, we also have a service that emails you speaking opportunities every single day, between 2 to 5 speaking opportunities. So I just want to take some time to talk about that very quickly. You know, when we did research and I asked speakers how long they spend versus how long they'd like to spend looking for speaking opportunities, the answers were very interesting. They would like to spend an hour a day, but what most people spend, and it's so important I put 4 speaking opportunities because I wanted to emphasize, most people spend half an hour a week looking for speaking opportunities. So obviously I wanted to solve that. And the way we do that is we have the unique alert service. So what you would do is you sign up. We're going to give you the how in a minute. And then literally from today, you'll start getting speaking opportunities in your inbox. Anything from HR, customer service, sales, marketing, wellness, mental health. Right now, they're all in one email, okay? In your inbox, then you click, we share the email on how to get booked, or the link for the form to get booked. Some of them paid, some of them are unpaid. And then if you ever need more than that, like a show reel done or your one pager, or you need help with your keynote, you can ask for support, and we have packages for that. But basically, this is for anybody. So you're here because you want to use LinkedIn to get more speaking opportunities. To complement that, we have the email service where we email you the email every single day. You don't have the time to look. And of course, if you want more authority as well, right? So there we go. It's very simple. We're going to put the link in the chat, or you scan the QR code. It's either $9.99 a month plus VAT or $97 for the year plus VAT. That's it. If you're on the monthly one, you just send us an email should you ever want to cancel, and we just cancel the account down. You identify the speaking opportunities for you, and then of course you get booked to deliver your talk, right? Priceless. So very minimal investment, huge returns potentially. And actually a couple of people I showed you got those speaking opportunities through the gigs that we're talking about. Also, right, so you got something to say, you want more sales, you want more bookings, you want to be the expert, right? You want to have an impact. This service is for you. Now, for anyone that does book, whether you go on the monthly one or you go on the yearly one, what I will do is I'll sit down with you for 30 minutes to show you how to maximize not just the speaking opportunities, but how you can actually utilize your speaking to get more. And I'll do that. I'll sit with you for 30 minutes and we'll talk about how you can actually position yourself better, grow more, whatever you need. Basically, it's a one-to-one consultation. You tell me what you need. I'll give you as much value up front if you want, and we'll take it from there. So anyone that does book it today, that's also in there. Some of you know or don't know this, but actually to have a one-to-one with me is a bit more than $9.99 and $97. But because I want you to maximize this opportunity, I'm more than happy to sit with you for 30 minutes and support you through this and show you how to maximize not just the Gig Getters alert, but maximize your speaking. So $9.99 a month or $97 for the year. You can do so. You can either scan the QR code, or as we speak, Regina is going to be posting no contract, Nicola, no contract. Absolutely no. All you need to do is really just sign up. And then if you want out, you email us and we cancel it down. We just ask for 30 days notice, but that's all. If that's the monthly one you're asking about, that's all you do is email us. No contracts, no obligation. I mean, if you signed up for the year, it's a different matter, right? Yeah, no yearly contract. There you go. No yearly contract needed. So Regina's going to post the links for both. And it's also the QR codes so those of you with a phone can scan the QR code, or you can just grab the links, which we're going to post in the chat. and also to book a chat with me, and we'll talk for 30 minutes and show you how to maximize it as well. So there you go. Very simple, solves a very simple challenge problem around getting speaking opportunities, about getting you booked. So this is while you're doing the LinkedIn stuff, of course, right? But we also do the email service. So Regina, I don't know if she's posted it already. There you go. Hello, everyone. Here's the link for the gig getters. It's all there. And there you go. I'd like to sign up, please. Woohoo! Okay. we will send you the links then as well. Brilliant. So let's carry on with the other keys, because there's 7 in total. And then we'll circle back to this, because obviously I want to add more value to you as well. And here's the other thing I want you to really think about, if you're not already doing it, is your recommendation and testimonial sharing. And I'm going to split that into 2, right? Obviously, there's the recommendation section on LinkedIn. So are you every time you speak, you should ask for recommendation from an organizer, period. You should also direct them, right, what you want in the testimonial. And I'll tell you why that matters. You don't want, Nicola was great, she was so much fun, she made everyone laugh, right? You want some of that. But remember that you're asking for a recommendation in order to inspire someone to book you. So while you were fun and you made everyone laugh, I'm just using Nicola as an example, right? What we do want is, you know, Nicola delivered value. She gave implementable steps. Everybody can literally take this away and apply this to their lives. That's what we're looking for from a recommendation. And of course, why they recommend it. You know, Linda was fantastic. She lifted the house off, but people got this, and this. This is why you should book her. Versus the feel-good testimonials. That's where you have to be careful. Like the feel-good, she was great, she was funny, it was amazing. That's nice, but that's not necessarily going to get you another booking. And the other thing is, when we talk about content sharing, right, you need to share the testimonials on your LinkedIn. So as a piece of content, oh, I just did this gig and this is what they said. Oh, thank you so much to Linda for booking me. This is what she said. They become part of your content rotation, right? Because again, social proof is very important. Word of mouth is very important. And if you're sharing your testimonials, then you're more likely to land more speaking opportunities, right? Because those who speak, speak. Right? And those who speak and have good recommendations are likely to get the bookings over someone that doesn't. So do share testimonials as part of your content as well, right? This is what's really, really important, okay? So again, Sarah's a property investor. We worked with her a couple of years ago now, tweaked her positioning, tweaked her content, what Sarah started to do is share continuous, right? Testimonials, not every day, but on a regular basis, testimonials where she was speaking, what they were said, what the audience said. And as a result of that, she landed at Tedx. And then she also got paid to speak more and more because there was more proof in it. So that's the key here. So that's why I'm talking about Sarah here. So what does it look like? You got a recommendation there on the left, various ones. These are recent ones of people I've worked with. And again, you heard me talk about Chuck at the beginning, but that's actually something he posted on LinkedIn and tagged me with, and then we took it and we created a post out of it. This isn't, I just want to be very clear, right? This isn't to show off. That's not the point of this. The point is to demonstrate to people that you're out there, you're speaking, and that you bring value. All right? Just understand why you do it. So please make use of the recommendations. That's really important, and make use of testimonials as part of your content. Now, depending on what level you're at here, there's various levels. If you don't have any yet, right? Let's say you're starting out or you're just getting into this. What I recommend you do is do 2 or 3, forget fee, in exchange for testimonial and footage. If they can't do footage, at least do in exchange for testimonial. And again, direct them on the testimonial you want. This is really important, okay? So if you're just kind of at the beginning of this, yeah, get some testimonials. If you've already been talking, who can you circle back to get recommendations and testimonials from, right? Because this is a massive part of your speaker toolkit. And the last part, there's 2 more, is proactive outreach. Now, this is where I want to really kind of spend a little bit more time on this. A lot of people sit there waiting for the LinkedIn knock. Knock, knock, knock. Can I book you? Knock, knock, knock. I'd like you to come and speak for us. Knock, knock, knock. Now, I'm not saying it never arrives, because it does, but nothing will accelerate this process than proactive outreach. Now, we have, since the turn of the year, been proactively doing an outreach, which means we sit there and we email first level connections, even second level connections, and connect with them. And we simply, depending on what we are going to do, we have a message. And, it's a relationship building. It's not, hi, Linda, I want you to book me. Here's my fee. Here's my show reel. Let's talk. It's actually a very warm outreach. Yeah. And what it does, it builds the relationship, but also opens up the conversation to potentially do something together. Got a couple of examples, I think, coming up, if I remember correctly. As a result of our outreach that we started in January, and I think I ended it in the end of January, I've had 3 speaker bookings, 2 webinar invites, 2 podcast invites, and 2 clients, right? And that's from one outreach, which basically went something like, hi, Sally. I hope you had a good end of the year. It's not exactly words, right? I normally tell a joke because I'm a terrible joke teller. So I always have a dad joke in there. And I said, look, I'm filling up my diary for 2023. I'm looking for speaking opportunities. Is there anything you can think of? If not, that's completely okay. Otherwise, let's talk, right? And that outreach has got me what I talked about here. So very simple, very warm, very relationship building. I've had calls that have led nowhere, and that's okay, right? I've had calls that have led to talks. I've had calls that have led to partnerships. My point is doing it consistently. And the more you do outreach, proactive outreach, the more you're setting yourself up to get booked. Because if you're going to sit there as one of your strategies, hoping, waiting, praying, wishing, it's not a strategy. It just doesn't work, right? So the other thing I want you to think about is adapting your approach. So obviously when we launched that, we started with Happy New Year. Hope you had a great start to 2023. But 2 weeks in, that wasn't appropriate anymore. So we had to tweak that. So it moved away from Happy New Year to I hope the year started well for you. Do you see? So you've got to adapt as you go along. Again, I'm sure you see this all the time on LinkedIn. Certain people, they have one message and it seems to be the one message they use. And it's almost cognitive disjointed. It's like, what? It doesn't quite land right. So adapt that. So here's some of the ones I've used, which I talked, not the one I talked about turning of the year, but I see you're a speaker. I'd love to connect with you. Here's a joke, right? That's the one on the left. Again, this is a conversation that you can see that people responded. I see a conference organizer. Again, there's a kind of a conference-y joke there. That's my style. I'm not saying you have to tell jokes, right? That's me. That's my terrible dad joke style, right? And again, someone on the red list, Lee, thank you for connecting with me. Here's another joke. But the thing is, from there, it starts a serious conversation, right? That's the key here. So find your way, your messaging, but be proactive with it. And the whole Be More Giraffe is how you reach out. It's what's going to get attention. Yeah, so just adapt that as well. So make sure you're nurturing, make sure you're adding value. And then you ask, right? Then you ask. So I will nurture a relationship. Then I say, hey, look, I'm looking for these things. How does that sound to you? Right? That's key. Please remember that. Yeah. Perfect. The other thing I want you to, which is underestimated when it comes to outreach, is using the search tab. So obvious. Yes, it is. So few people use it. The search tab is a goldmine. Why? Because you can look for people in your space that you want to speak for. So let's say you go, only because I know it's Linda's topic, conferences on psychopaths, right? And it will list the people that speak on the topic. It will list the conferences on the topic. They will list events happening on the topic. There's so much there. Then you can outreach to those people, speakers in a similar space. Hey, I noticed we speak on the same topics. Shall we connect? Event organizers. Hey, I noticed you do conferences on psychopaths, right? Can I be a speaker, right? The search bar is a goldmine. What people don't understand is how to utilize it. Using certain keywords will bring up a plethora of information, and you don't have to have Sales Navigator to maximize it. So please make use of the search bar. You want those high speaking opportunities? Make use of the search bar. Yeah. It's your gateway to gigs. It's your gateway to connect with people. And you start to find out also who else is out there. We've discovered so much. We do, when we work with our clients, we actually take them through a whole session on this, right? Because it's so important. And the last thing I want to talk about, of course, is consistency of relevant content, right? Consistency of look, consistency of updates, keep things up to date. The speaking space, you should be updating things 6 to 12 months cycles, right? And have a presence. Remember I said 2 to 3 times a week, make it 2 to 3 times a week, make it 5 days, whatever it is. I wouldn't say 1 day is enough, by the way, but make sure it's consistent. Because if you're not consistent, someone else is. And they're the ones that will get the ranking. They're the ones that grow and everything like that as well. Also, just kind of stepping outside of LinkedIn a little bit, just make sure that everything is consistent, that you have a consistency of presence across your channels. So yeah, we talked about LinkedIn today, but also your website, right? Your other pages, Twitter, that it looks or has a similar theme. Because if it's slightly disjointed, right, then actually it can create that cognitive mistrust. So make sure everything is consistent and has the same feel and look. That's another thing I want you to think about, to be consistent. And the other thing I want you to understand, which we talked about at the beginning, is you're not a porn star, right? So it's not about size. This is why I talked about Devon and Deborah to begin with. Don't have a big following, don't have a lot of connections, and they got some great results, right? I post a lot on LinkedIn. I don't always have a lot of comments or a lot of likes, but I do get a lot of inquiries, and it's helped my positioning and my profile raising. A big part of why I've won awards in the last couple of years is actually due to the content I post and what I put out there. So please don't get hung up on likes and comments and size of things. That's why I talk about not being a porn star. You're always selling, right? So everything matters. But you're posting today for the future. And what I talked about earlier on is often you're posting for people that are scrolling, or when you do the outreach, only then they'll read your profile. So when we did the proactive outreach, only then did people respond with, oh yeah, I just went and read your profile, let's talk. So don't be surprised if people add you, don't look at your profile until there's a reason to, which is why I want to make sure that you understand that every section sells you, every image sells you, every post sells you. Which is why I want you to be very conscious of the type of content you put out there, the videos you put out there, the images you put out there. All of this matters, okay? And that's what I want everyone to understand and take note of. So, just very quickly, someone that did all of the above and beyond was Janetta, because sometimes I do mentor people. I work with people one-to-one as well. And so with Janetta, we really engineered her whole speaker journey, as well as her communication of what she did. And when we tweaked everything, her images, her profile, her language, her marketing, her assets, that's when things really picked up for her as well. And people started to book her for speaking as well as coaching, because the whole package was there. Now, again, with Janetta, it's more one-to-one mentoring. It wasn't one of these smaller packages that we do. But I just want you to understand that when you put it all together, you get the results. And it isn't an overnight fix, it is a marathon, and it does need continuous attention, and you do need to keep an eye on it. I wish it was an overnight fix, but it's not, right? So I just want you to be aware of that. And you've got to give yourself the time, be compassionate with yourself. The results are never as quick as we wish them to be, right? I know we all want results a lot quicker than we get them. We all want bigger numbers. We all want bigger, 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 bigger. I understand that. Me too. But make sure that you allow the journey to unfold, that you're consistent with it, that you understand each bit matters. And you don't have to do everything we talked about today at once. Start doing one thing, but do it well. Do 30 minutes a day outreach, all these little bits. Just start doing that, and then they'll come together. Remember, world records are broken in milliseconds, not in massive jumps, right? So take the mini steps. They're going to make the massive difference as well. So I'd love to hear what your biggest learnings are as we start to wrap this up. What are your biggest takeaways? You can type them in the box, or you can very quickly tell me them on the mic, and then we'll go from there. Direct people with delivered value. Great. So what is it that you took away? What's the one thing you're going to do? That's what I'll be interested in as well. What's the one action step you're going to take as a result of that? Strategic outreach. Yes, Caroline. Woohoo! The last thing my grandfather said before he died was, it's worth to spend the money on good speaker. Yes, there we go. That was some sound advice. Yes, good stuff. Love that, Chris. What else have we done? My takeaway is to root. Yes, love that. Revamp and revise. Yes. Oh, God, I love this. Oh, this is why I do this. Makes me really, really, really happy, right? So, Nicola, you and me will be talking. We'll have our little one-to-one as well. I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while. So some really good learnings here. I think a few people are still writing. I think that's my little
Elliot,
girl.
may I just pop in on a note because I can't put my video on.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. Absolutely loved it. The proactive outreach, and for me, the big thing is the consistency.
100%.
I get all excited, do a couple of posts, then take a deep breath, and then you lose the momentum. So really, that's my big takeaway. Consistency.
Nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so important. You know, if you take nothing else away from, be consistent. Honestly, consistency trumps everything, right? Progress over perfection. Consistency trumps perfection. I don't get it right most of the time, people. Anyone following me knows that, but I'm consistently putting myself out there, right? Be consistent without it. Also careful with vanity posts. There we go. That's another way for it. Vanity posts. So fabulous, fabulous stuff. So for those of you who do, we've just posted the alert service again. And of course, the link to book some of you might just want to have a chat with me first. Feel free to have a chat. It won't be a consultation, but we'll talk about other things. There's a link there if you want to book in a call with me, like, hey, Elliot, I'd like to discuss something with you first. Please do. I am an open book. Book a call in. For those of you who do book the Gig Getters alert service, we will gladly have that consultation so I can direct you to the right areas as well. So if you do want emails daily, they are daily, right? Sign up, join us on the Gig Getters. We'll send them to you. And then let's have the 30-minute consultation as well. And then if you needed more support beyond that, again, that's another call we can have. But it's a good start, $9.99 a month or $97 for the year. Have a call with me so you can maximize it as well. So you already get support. So if you do want speaking opportunities, more of them, you don't have the time to. By the way, it's global. The gigs are in America, in Dubai, in the UK, in New York, you name it. We find them and we post them, right? In Spain, and then we go from there. So very small investment for a big return potentially. I can't promise you that return, but I do promise you that if you apply what you learned here today and you apply for the speaking, you will get a return. That I can. I can't promise and guarantee, if you know what I mean. Right. You got something to say? You want more sales, more bookings? You want to be expert? Sign up, join us, right? We'd love to support you doing that. There's the link. There's the QR code. I'd love to carry on supporting you in any way I can. If you want to have a call with me, feel free to book a call with me first to have a conversation, but it won't be a consultation. The consultation will be if you do get the support, so to speak, the alerts. Any questions about that? Ask away. Great session as always. Thanks, Elliot. You're very welcome, Linda. I'm going to hang back for the next few minutes if you have any questions. But that is the end of the webinar. So go out there, be seen, be heard, and always be more giraffe. But if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and let me answer any questions you may have. Till the next time, people, I look forward to seeing you soon. And if you haven't signed up, sign up. Yes, Nicola.
I've just got a quick question. You probably covered it. When you've got $9.99, when you're paying $9.99 a month, what do you get for your month? Do you get a consultation each month, or what do you?
So the consultation call is whether you sign up for the $9.99 or the $97. So you get one 30-minute consultation call for that. After that, it's an email service. So it's a daily email service. If you wanted more like coaching or anything like that, that's a separate conversation. But if you sign up for the $9.99 or the $97, we'll have a 30-minute consultation as part of that.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks, Elliot.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any questions about the alerts? Yes. Durgamata, yes.
Yeah, my question is actually, I really enjoyed this webinar. I think you know what I need to know, so I'm definitely signing up for the $9.99.
Yes.
But what I'd like to know is, what program do you use to create your webinars? Because they're so professional. I want to kind of mirror it. Because
Okay, so
I've got webinars that I've been struggling to do all year, and they're just a mess. I
do you
want
mean
to be able
the
to have
delivery?
the link, then the picture, then the form, the buttons. What program do you use?
Oh, that's nice feedback. Thank you. Thanks for that. So I think if I said so, the page is built on WordPress.
Right.
We use Active Campaign for the emailing, and this is my pretty face for the rest of it. But besides that, this is actually on Zoom, and then the slides I had designed, which could be better. There's a typo or two there I spotted,
I was
and that
gonna
always
say,
happens
yeah,
when I
what
don't
was-
let my wife proofread and I add slides, right? But yeah, this is on. We are going to move it to Riverside soon, the webinar, just so you know. But it's on Zoom. It's the Zoom service as well.
Right.
So I hope that helps and answers your
Yep.
question.
I've just recently joined HubSpot. I think that's a bit like Active Campaign.
Yes, it is. I don't know HubSpot. I've been with Active Campaign for years. To be completely honest, the tech side isn't my expertise, so you'll need to speak to an expert. But I have a guy that does it. So if you need me
Great.
to connect with him, I'll connect you with him. He's great.
Yeah, that would be useful. That would be
Okay,
useful.
yeah. So drop me an email and then I'll gladly.
You just can't be good at everything. Simple as
No,
that.
definitely not. And tech is definitely not one of them. Chris can testify to that when we had our chat, how I'm a bit bamboozled by tech, but I can get the basics. That's the good news.
Great.
Any more
Thank you.
questions about gig getters, the alert service? So Chris, this
Mailchimp.
is also part of the Circle membership. Yes, Nicola.
Sorry, Mailchimp's a good one, Libby.
Oh, yeah.
Mailchimp, it's a very, very easy, simple. You'll be able to do it yourself. Use it like a CRM, adding your information, all the people that you need to add via a spreadsheet, and then you can put newsletters together, and you can put many different things together, mailers, everything.
There you are. Perfect.
Yeah, and if you've already got HubSpot does do a lot of that as well if you've already invested in that. And especially if you use HubSpot as part of your Google Workspace suite as well, because it'll link in with everything there.
Fantastic. Yeah, I did a lot of research before I joined HubSpot. I was in Active Campaign since 2020, and I just couldn't get my head around it. It was too complicated. So somebody said, try HubSpot, it's simpler. And
There you go.
it hasn't been easy, but I actually sent my first group email out last week.
Congratulations. Perfect. Well, if no one else has any more questions about the Gig Getters alert service, or, I think just feel free to book in a call. Let's have a chat. As I say, there's no contract. If you're doing the $9.99 a month, cool. 97, cool. And then we can go from there. We'll book in the 30-minute consultation, and there'll be another webinar next month. Which one it will be, I don't know. So keep an eye on the newsletters. But in the meantime, I look forward to reconnecting with you all and make sure that you are seen, you are heard, and make sure you go out there and be born giraffe. So till the next time, people, I'll see you all soon. Have a lovely rest of the day. Lovely to see your smiley faces. Bye all. Bye.
Thank you
Elliot.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.